Hey everybody, Ketwolski here, checking in with another one of our hashtag Star Trek discussions videos, hashtag Soong Files, everything you never wanted to know about the Star Trek. Today we're going to be talking about the Voyager crew and where they are now. This is the last video that I'm going to be doing for the primary principal cast members of each of the individual shows. We've already done everybody else. Voyager was the last one. I do plan on actually doing a video after this one that's going to include some of the sub-characters that you may remember from, you know, the different seasons that you're probably curious about what happened to them as well. So I'm going to do one more video after this one that's going to cover all of those interesting sub-characters, and then that'll be the end of this Where They Are Now video series. So for right now, let's go ahead and jump right into this Voyager episode. And of course, before we begin, I do want to go ahead and remind all of you that this video will be containing both alpha and beta canon sources. Okay, so first up we have Admiral Kathryn Janeway. She was promoted shortly after her return from Earth in 2387 by Admiral Owen Paris, and she was instrumental in defeating a crippling Borg plague that was sweeping through Earth upon her return from the Delta Quadrant at the end of the Voyager series. During a mission, a follow-on mission to the Delta Quadrant as part of Project Full Circle, Female Q rescued Admiral Janeway's consciousness after her body was destroyed. In doing so, she facilitated her return by prolonging the moment between death and a higher plane of existence. With the help of both Q's, Sun, and as well as Kes, Janeway was able to recollect her scattered atoms and reintegrate them. Admiral Janeway is alive and well into the year 2409 and was one of the principal backers of the scientific investigation into the supernova of 2387 that destroyed Romulus. Admiral Janeway was remembered by Jake and other surviving members of the Long Era War, or rather the Undine War, into the 25th century. Next up we have Chakotay. His activities as a Maquis were pardoned and his provincial rank was made official. Through the efforts of the former Captain Janeway, now a Vice Admiral, he was promoted to the rank of Captain and given command of Voyager, where Tom Paris served as his first officer. Chakotay and Seven subsequently ended their romantic liaison. Chakotay and Janeway finally admitted their feelings for each other and began a romantic relationship in the year 2379. They agreed to meet again in Venice after Voyager's return from the Yaris Nebula the following year. When Chakotay traveled to Venice to meet Janeway, he was greeted by her former fiancé Mark Johnson, who revealed the news of her death. Distraught, Chakotay made questionable and out-of-character command decisions on his next mission. This resulted in Chakotay requiring a psychological evaluation and eventually resigning from Starfleet altogether. However, after some grieving time, Chakotay finally returned to Starfleet and was once again given command of the USS Voyager. Shortly after his return from service, Janeway was revealed to be alive. She and Captain Chakotay resumed their romantic relationship, indicating that they wished to continue it for as long as possible. By 2401, Chakotay had reached the rank of Admiral. He participated in the 2404 opening of the Alpha Centauri System Transwarp Hub, and 2 years later, Chakotay was promoted to the head of Starfleet Intelligence. He promised more accountability and to be open in the posting. One of his earliest briefings and hurdles was dealing with at least 30 Undine infiltrators in high-level posts within Starfleet Command. Next up, we have Belania Torres. In 2381, she recreated a slipstream drive from memory and reunited with Voyager on a mission in the Delta Quadrant under Project Full Circle. She is then given the rank of Fleet Chief Engineer and returns to active duty. Later, she is revealed to be pregnant and gives birth to her and Tom Paris' son, Michael Owen Paris. Tom Paris served as Voyager's first officer after the original first officer was revealed to be a renegade changeling. He continued to serve in that capacity well after the Borg invasion of 2381. This same year, he also got word of his father's death at Starbase 234. In 2410, Paris was still in Starfleet, serving as the captain of the USS Mercury. Paris voluntarily took a demotion to captain to serve in the field and lead a task force called Delta Flight, which was made up of the best pilots from Starfleet, the Klingon Defense Force, and Romulan Republican forces, which was used to aid the alliance of Milky Way factions in the invasion of the Iconians and their herald servants. Neelix maintains his title of ambassador between the Federation and the Delta Quadrant and has become the de facto leader of the Talaxan asteroid colony he and Dexa live on. Later on, Neelix helps broker an agreement between the Delta Alliance and the Hazari to counter the threat of the Vaadwaur resurgence, and is also instrumental in founding new Talax for his people. The Doctor became a famous proponent of holographic rights and eventually joined a Federation think tank with Seven of Nine. In 2382, Starfleet ordered the Doctor's mobile emitter to be transferred for scientific and research purposes to Gaylor 4. The Doctor filed a lawsuit to prevent this from happening. The JAG office issued an injunction until further research could be done and a final ruling made. By 2389, the Doctor had still not been declared a quote-unquote person. In 2395, the Doctor accepted a commission in Starfleet, gaining the rank of Lieutenant Commander, and an assignment on Gaylor 4. In 2410, the Doctor returned to the Delta Quadrant to work in humanitarian relief efforts under the auspicious Delta Quadrant Command. Tuvok was cured of his illness by his son and was promoted to Commander. He then began teaching at Starfleet Academy under Admiral Janeway. Eventually, he was tapped by Starfleet Intelligence and sent undercover to Romulus and to make contact with Ambassador Spock. Coincidentally, Shinzon assassinates the Romulan Sen simultaneously, and in the ensuing chaos, Tuvok is jailed before being rescued by the crew of the USS Titan around a year later. Tuvok's son Elith is one of the billions killed during a Borg invasion of the Alpha Quadrant. Additionally, he assists Nog and Thomas Riker as part of a Starfleet Intelligence Black Ops team known as Active 4 in investigating the recent assassination of the Federation president. Tuvok resigned his commission from Starfleet by the year 2401 when he joins Admiral Janeway and Chakotay's objection to Starfleet's inaction in the face of overwhelming proven Alpha Quadrant infiltration by Species 8472. At a later unspecified date, Tuvok rejoins Starfleet. He appears as a Rear Admiral and is a vital member in coordinating an alliance of Alpha, Beta, and Delta Quadrant species against a resurgent Vaadwaur threat and the Undine. After her breakup with Chakotay, Seven of Nine moved in with her aunt and attained much undesired celebrity. Eventually, she joined a Federation think tank with the Doctor, where she remained for a few years. After her remaining Borg implants were seemingly destroyed, she underwent a severe emotional shift and began asserting her true name as Annika Hansen once again. Annika spent some time working with a Borg task force in the Alpha and Beta quadrants. However, when the task force was dissolved in 2385, Starfleet, believing the Borg threat was no longer an issue, Seven angrily disagreed with the decision and resigned from Starfleet, accepting a position at the Daystrom Institute instead. Eventually, Tuvok asked Seven to leave the Daystrom Institute to work with the new Delta Alliance Command. There, she operates alongside the Cooperative, which is a new group of free Borg drones, and their efforts to avoid being reassimilated by the Collective or destroyed by their opponents. Kim gets back together with Libby and is promoted to full lieutenant. Kim then serves under Captain Chakotay aboard Voyager as the Chief of Security for several years. Later, he becomes the Chief of Security for Starbase 11 by the year 2400. In 2410, Kim has been promoted to the rank of Captain of the USS Rhode Island and given the position of Starfleet Envoy to the Kobali. So that concludes today's video about Voyager Crew, where they are now. I hope that you guys and gals enjoyed this and found it rather entertaining. My personal feelings about everyone's fate was rather interesting. I found it kind of strange that, the Voyager Crew, which, kind of got the short stick in the series, wound up having the pretty good futures overall. It seems as though a lot of the crew members, especially Deep Space Nine, did not have such great ends, if you guys recall some of my other videos. So it's interesting to see that the Voyager Crew really got a very positive end to the overall storylines of each of their characters. Anyways, I'm hoping to read what you guys and gals have to say and what you think about all the different ends to each of your characters. Did you prefer if Neelix had died in a tragic, horrible way? Did you like the fact that Chakotay and Janeway kind of got together at the end? Did you like the fact that Tom Paris and Miss Torres stayed together and had a kid eventually? I'm just curious to hear what all of you guys and gals have to say about each of the characters. If you found the video entertaining and fun, please throw a like and a subscribe up on YouTube. Please follow me on Twitter at RealKetwolski and follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/RealKetwolski. And I will see all of you guys and gals next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies.
They're coming up deep, coming up
Distraught, Chakotay,